बच्चों के लिए जो धरती माँ सदियों से सभी कुछ सहती है, हम उस देश के वासी हैं, हम उस देश के वासी हैं जिस देश में गंगा बहती है। कुछ लोग जो ज्यादा जानते हैं इंसान को कम पहचानते हैं, कुछ लोग जो ज्यादा जानते हैं इंसान को कम पहचानते हैं। ये पूरब है, पूरब वाले हर जान की कीमत जानते हैं, हर जान की कीमत जानते हैं। मिलजुल के रहो और प्यार करो, एक चीज यही तो रहती है, हम उस देश के वासी हैं, हम उस देश के वासी हैं जिस देश में गंगा बहती है। जो जिसे मिला सीखा हमने, गैरों को भी अपनाया हमने, जो जिसे मिला सीखा हमने, गैरों को भी अपनाया हमने। मतलब के लिए अंधे होकर रोटी को नहीं पूजा हमने, रोटी को नहीं पूजा हमने। अब हम तो क्या सारी दुनिया से कहती है, हम उस देश के वासी हैं, हम उस देश के वासी हैं जिस देश में गंगा बहती है। होठों पे सच्चाई रहती है, जहाँ दिल में सफाई रहती है, हम उस देश के वासी हैं, हम उस देश के वासी हैं जिस देश में गंगा बहती है।
बिछड़े चमन तुझ पे दिल कुर्बान, तो ही मेरी आरज़ू, तो ही मेरी आबरू, तो ही मेरी जान। है मेरे प्यारे वतन, है मेरे बिछड़े चमन तुझ पे दिल कुर्बान। तेरे दामन से जो आए उन हवाओं को सलाम, से जो आए उन हवाओं को सलाम। चूम लूं मैं उस जुबां को जिस पे आए तेरा नाम, सबसे प्यारी सुबह तेरी, सबसे रंगी तेरी शाम, तुझ पे दिल कुर्बान। तो ही मेरी आरज़ू, तो ही मेरी पे दिल कुर्बान, तू ही मेरी आरज़ू, तू ही मेरी आब। है ये ही तमन्ना तेरे ज़र्रों की कसम, हम जहाँ पैदा हुए उस जगह ही निकले दम, तुझ पे दिल कुर्बान। तू ही मेरी आरज़ू, तू ही मेरी आबरू, तू ही
गंगा आई कहाँ से, गंगा जाए कहाँ रे, आए कहाँ से जाए कहाँ रे, लहराई पानी में जैसे धूप छाँव रे। गंगा आए कहाँ से, गंगा जाए कहाँ रे, लहरा पानी में जैसे धूप छाँव रे। गंगा आए कहाँ से, गंगा जाए कहाँ रे, लहरा पानी में जैसे धूप छाँव रे। रात कारी दिन उजियारा मिल गए दोनों साए, रात कारी दिन उजियारा मिल गए दोनों साए, साँझ न देखो रंग रूप के कैसे भेद मिटाए रे, लहराए पानी में जैसे धूप छाँव रे। गंगा आए कहाँ से, गंगा जाए कहाँ रे, लहराए पानी में जैसे धूप छाँव रे। कांच कोई माटी कोई रंग बिरंगी प्याले, ओ कांच कोई माटी कोई रंग बिरंगी प्याले, प्यास लगे तो एक बराबर इसमें पानी डाले रे, लहरा पानी में जैसे धूप छाँव रे। गंगा आए कहाँ से, गंगा जाए कहाँ रे, लहरा पानी में जैसे धूप छाँव रे। नाम कोई बोली कोई लाखों रूप और चेहरे, जाए कहाँ रे।
देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो। देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो। देश मांगता है कुर्बानियां, देश मांगता है कुर्बानियां। कानू परदेसां विच रोलिए जवानियां। देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो, ओए देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो। मातृभूमि ने हमें बुलाया है, अब जाना होगा। मातृभूमि ने हमें बुलाया है, अब जाना होगा। जंजीरों में कैद है वो, उसे छुड़ाना होगा। अब न सहेंगे हम गैरों की गुलामियां। देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो। देश मांगता है कुर्बानियां, देश मांगता है कुर्बानियां। कानू परदेसां विच रोलिए जवानियां। देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो। देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो। देश मांगता है कुर्बानियां, देश मांगता है कुर्बानियां। कानू परदेसां विच रोलिए जवानियां। देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो, देश नु चलो। अपने हाथों से हम लिखेंगे अपनी तकदीरें, अपने हाथों से
सदियों से हैं रिश्ते टूटे हो, सदियों से हैं रिश्ते टूटे, छूटा अपना देश, चल चलिए घर आपने, आया है संदेश, आया है संदेश। लेके आई है हवाएं ये इशारा, ओ लेके आई है हवाएं ये इशारा, ओ लेके आई है हवाएं ये इशारा। चलिए वे चलिए वतन मेरे यारा, चलिए वे चलिए वतन मेरे यारा। वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम।
ओ लेके आई है हवाएं ये इशारा, ओ लेके आई है हवाएं ये इशारा। चलिए वे चलिए वतन मेरे यारा। वंदे मातरम।
अपना आंगन। ओ हो, देखेंगे हम अपना आंगन।
हमको थामेगा वो दामन, हमको थामेगा वो दामन।
देखेंगे हम अपना आंगन, हमको थामेगा वो दामन। देखेंगे
हमको थामेगा वो दामन।
हो दिल में जागा है ये अंगारा, दिल में जागा है ये अंगारा।
चलिए वे चलिए वतन मेरे यारा,
चलिए वे चलिए वतन में।
लेके आई है हवाएं ये इशारा, हो लेके आई है हवाएं ये इशारा। चलिए वे चलिए वतन मेरे यारा। वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे
की करी जाना है, क्यों मरी जाना है, की करी जाना है, और क्यों मरी जाना है, ओए की करी जाना है, क्यों मरी जाना है। ऐसे ना बुजुर्गों की इज्जतें उछालो, पगड़ी संभाल जजा, पगड़ी संभालो, पगड़ी संभाल जजा, पगड़ी संभालो। की करी जाना है, क्यों मरी जाना है। ऐसे ना बुजुर्गों की इज्जतें उछालो, पगड़ी संभाल जजा, पगड़ी संभालो, पगड़ी संभाल जजा, पगड़ी संभालो। हल चलाए तूने, ओए तूने फसल उगाई, कैसे कोई ले जाएगा, ये है तेरी कमाई। तोड़ गुलामी की जंजीरें, बेबस होना ऐसे, तू है भारत माँ का बेटा, भूल गया ये कैसे। हो नहीं तू अकेला, 80 सारे तेरे नाल, ओए पगड़ी संभाल जजा, पगड़ी संभालो, पगड़ी संभाल जजा, पगड़ी संभालो। गम ना कर चमकेगी ओए तकदीर ये तेरी मेरी, आजादी का उगेगा सूरज जाएगी रात अंधेरी, ये धरती तेरी है पगले इस पे तेरा राज है, सुनो ओए जट्टा तेरी पगड़ी तेरे सर का ताज है, ओए दे दे जवाब सीधा करना सवाल, ओए पगड़ी संभाल जट्टा पगड़ी संभाल, ओए पगड़ी संभाल जट्टा पगड़ी संभाल, ओए अग्गी करी जाना है क्यों मरी जाना है, ओए की करी जाना है क्यों मरी जाना है, ऐसे ना बुजुर्गों की इज्जतें उछालो, ओए पगड़ी संभाल जट्टा पगड़ी संभाल, ओए पगड़ी संभाल जट्टा पगड़ी संभाल, ओए पगड़ी संभाल, ओए जट्टा पगड़ी संभाल, ओए।
है इश्क है हमें सरजमी से, हर इंजन की पहचान है ये, बाइबल गीता कुरान है ये, हर इंजन की पहचान है ये, बाइबल गीता कुरान है ये, है माँ है ये, है इश्क है इश्क है हमें सरजमी से, है इश्क है हमें सरजमी से,
हर इंडियन की पहचान है ये, बाइबल गीता कुरान है ये, है माँ है ये,
है इश्क है हमें सरजमी से, है इश्क है हमें सरजमी से। लुटाते हैं। My nation is my pride. My nation is my pride. हर इंडियन का अरमान है ये, बाइबल गीता कुरान है ये, है माँ है ये, सरजमी से है इश्क है हमें सरजमी से सरजमी से है इश्क है हमें सरजमी से वंदे मातरम 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 पांचल में हमको रखा गोदी में हमको पाला यूं चीर के अपना सीना दिया इसने हमें निवाला जननी जन्मा भूमिश्च स्वर्गादपि गरियसि जननी जन्मा भूमिश्च स्वर्गादपि गरियसि नन्हा सा बचपन बीता इसकी माटी में खेले इसकी वादी में हमने देखे खुशियों के मेले जननी जन्मा भूमिश्च स्वर्गादपि गरियसि हर इंजन का अभिमान है ये बाइबल गीता कुरान है ये है माँ है इश्क है इश्क है हमें सरजमी से अरे इंजन की पहचान है ये बाइबल गीता कुरान है ये है माँ है इश्क है हमें सरजमी से इश्क है हमें सरजमी से है इश्क है हमें सरजमी से वंदे मातरम 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 वंदे मातरम
देश का सिपाही हूँ, बोलो मेरे संग। जय हिंद जय हिंद जय हिंद, जय हिंद जय हिंद। नन्ना मुन्ना राही हूँ, देश का सिपाही हूँ, बोलो मेरे संग। जय हिंद जय हिंद जय हिंद, जय हिंद जय हिंद। रास्ते में चलूंगा ना डर डर के, चाहे मुझे जीना पड़े मर मर के। मंजिल से पहले ना लूंगा कहीं दम, आगे ही आगे बढ़ाऊंगा कदम। दाहिने बाएं थम, नन्ना मुन्ना राही हूँ, देश का सिपाही हूँ, बोलो मेरे संग। जय हिंद जय हिंद जय हिंद, जय हिंद जय हिंद। धूप में पसीना मैं बहाऊंगा जहाँ, हरे हरे खेत लहराएंगे वहाँ। धरती पे पापी ना पाएंगे जन्म, आगे ही आगे बढ़ाऊंगा कदम। दाहिने बाएं थम, नन्ना मुन्ना राही हूँ, देश का सिपाही हूँ, बोलो मेरे संग। जय हिंद जय हिंद जय हिंद, जय हिंद जय हिंद। नया है जमाना, मेरी नई है डगर, देश को बनाऊंगा मशीनों का नगर। भारत किसी से रहेगा नहीं कम, आगे ही आगे बढ़ाऊंगा कदम। दाहिने बाएं थम, नन्ना मुन्ना राही हूँ, देश का सिपाही हूँ, बोलो मेरे संग। जय हिंद जय हिंद जय हिंद, जय हिंद जय हिंद। बड़ा होके देश का सहारा बनूंगा, दुनिया की आंखों का तारा बनूंगा। रखूंगा ऊंचा तिरंगा परचम, आगे ही आगे बढ़ाऊंगा कदम। दाहिने बाएं थम, नन्ना मुन्ना राही हूँ, देश का सिपाही हूँ, बोलो मेरे संग। जय हिंद जय हिंद जय हिंद, जय हिंद जय हिंद। शांति की नगरी है मेरा ये वतन, सबको सिखाऊंगा मैं प्यार का चलन। दुनिया में गिरने ना दूंगा कहीं बम, आगे ही आगे बढ़ाऊंगा कदम। दाहिने बाएं थम, नन्ना मुन्ना राही हूँ, देश का सिपाही हूँ, बोलो मेरे संग। जय हिंद जय हिंद जय हिंद, जय हिंद जय हिंद।
कर चले हम फिदा जानो तन साथियों, अब तुम्हारे हवाले वतन साथियों। कर चले हम फिदा जानो तन साथियों, अब तुम्हारे हवाले वतन साथियों। कर चले हम फिदा जानो तन साथियों, अब तुम्हारे हवाले वतन साथियों। सांस थमती गई, नब्ज जमती गई, फिर भी बढ़ते कदम को न रुकने दिया। कट गए सर हमारे तो कुछ गम नहीं, सर हिमालय का हमने न झुकने दिया। मरते मरते रहा बाकपन साथियों, अब तुम्हारे साथियों। कर चले हम फिदा जानो तन साथियों, अब तुम्हारे हवाले वतन साथियों। जिंदा रहने के मौसम बहुत है, मगर जान देने की रुत रोज आती नहीं। हुस्न और इश्क दोनों को रुसवा करे, वो जवानी जो खून में नहाती नहीं। आज धरती बनी है दुल्हन साथियों, अब तुम्हारे हवाले वतन साथियों। कर चले हम फिदा जानो तन साथियों, अब तुम्हारे हवाले वतन साथियों।
ठीक है ना इस साइज मेरे साथ ठीक। हेलो हेलो बोला आ रहे हैं वो उनका फंक्शन चल रहा था ऑन कितनी देर कितना 5 मिनट्स अच्छा पैदल आ रहे हैं चलो हाँ Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the slight inconvenience. There was a Chief Justice conference going on with the Honorable CJ. CJ would be here any moment in next 5 minutes. Thank you, everyone, for their patience. He has already left. He should be here in next 5 minutes. Thank you. Yeah. May I request President Mr. Vikas Singh and Mr. Pradeep Rai, Vice President, to kindly escort Honorable Mr. Justice N.V. Ramana, Chief Justice of India, to the dais.
No speech. अरे 5 minutes. Nothing. Very important agenda मेरा सर. No speech. अरे वेणुगोपाल सर को
May I request our senior member to kindly escort Learning Attorney General for India also to the dais?
come the
May I request Yugandhra Jha, our Treasurer SCBA, to present a bouquet of flowers to Honorable Mr. Justice N.V. Ramana, Chief Justice of India. May I request Mr. Deepak Kansal, Joint Treasurer SCBA, to present a bouquet of flowers to Mr. K.K. Venugopal, London Attorney General for India. Honorable Mr. Justice N.V. Ramana, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court, Mr. K.K. Venugopal, London Attorney General for India, Mr. Tushar Mehta, Learned Solicitor General of India, Chief Justice of different High Courts, Mr. Vikas Singh, our President, Mr. Pradeep Rai, our Vice President. The present Executive Committee has taken over today, and first of all, on behalf of the whole EC, I would like to thank each and every member of the bar for reposing faith in us. I would also like to assure Chief Justice of India and other honorable judges that we would work together for the institution. Though we did meet Honorable CJI with a request letter, but just one request to Honorable CJI and Honorable Mr. Justice Yu Lalit and other members of the committee to kindly give us auditorium in the new chamber block for the SCBA functions, for which we have been repeatedly requesting, as it is very tough to have functions in open in this weather. We are also thankful to all the Honorable Chief Justices of different High Courts for accepting our invitation. May I now request Mr. Pradeep Rai, Vice President of SCBA, to kindly give his welcome address.
Honorable Chief Justice of India, Honorable Justice N.V. Ramana sir, Honorable Judges Supreme Court of India, Honorable K.K. Venugopal sir, Attorney General for India, Chief Justices of the High Courts, Mr. Tushar Mehta, Solicitor General of India, Mr. Vikas Singh, President SCBA, Rahul, Secretary SCBA, Mr. P.H. Parekh, 6-time President of SCBA, and Pauni Mahalakshmi ji, I can see you there, and many senior advocates and our members of the bar and our executive committee and executive committee of ISKORA, including Manoj Mishra ji, President of ISKORA. Actually, this is the, because we are a bit late, and our law minister, he came and he left, but that is not an issue. The issue is to welcome each and everyone and have some basic interaction. We are actually, Mr. Vikas Singh was demanding that there should be some procedure by which the names of Supreme Court lawyers may also be considered while elevation in the High Courts. We don't want that our name should be just be appointed without any merits. We simply want that if there are some good lawyers from our court, they should be given an opportunity for consideration. And for that purpose, I don't feel that there is any problem. We request all the honorable lordships that please accept this suggestion and this request. We have another request that when we develop the procedure of infrastructure, like judicial academies, most of the time we see that academies are underutilized. Recently, because of interference of Honorable Justice Lalit and Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, our Supreme Court bar members, they got the training at Judicial Academy. This kind of facility can be extended to all the lawyers. all the high courts, because this is not an issue where these lawyers cannot be accommodated in judicial academies, because infrastructure is mostly unused. And we see that there is nothing at all, no activity, but despite that, there is a kind of restriction that lawyers should not be allowed on those forums. So I request, my lord, that at least the direction could be given, and at least it should be open for the lawyers community also, the judicial academy, when it is not under utilization, then it can be utilized for our lawyers. There are several other demands, but this is not the time, my lord, that I will raise any demand, because you very clearly said that these issues should not be raised by the bar. But few things I must say, that when infrastructure is being developed, at least bar should be consulted. Bar should be told that these kind of things we are going to give you, and we can also suggest something which is good for us and which can be better utilized by each one of us. So, my lord, I'm simply saying, my lord is not paying attention to whatever we are requesting because Singh ji is interfering. Yes, he is responsible for suppressing my voice. My lord, time is less. So I only pray that all the lordships, I welcome you all, and I just request that whenever there is something, an opportunity for our Supreme Court lawyers, that must be considered. We are not interfering in any way that in the administration of justice. Only we are placing our request as an application to be placed before the lordships. That may be considered. Thank you so much, sir.
May I now request Mr. K.K. Venugopal, Attorney General for India, to deliver his address.
Honorable Chief Justice of India, Justice Ramana, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court of India, Honorable Chief Justices of the various High Courts of this country and Judges of the High Courts, Sri Tushar Mehta, Learned Solicitor General and Additional Solicitors General, Sri Vikas Singh, President, Supreme Court Bar Association, office bearers recently elected who have to be congratulated on having taken over the reins for the next 1 year, my colleagues at the bar, ladies and gentlemen. We are looking forward to extending a warm reception to the Chief Justices coming from the various High Courts. But it has turned out to be a very hot reception. The temperature outside is 42 degrees centigrade. And if it were not for the fact that all the Chief Justices are coming and would be present, I myself would not have been here. I remember that on March 18th, 1996, our highly respected former Chief Justice of India, Chief Justice P.N. Bhagavati, spoke to the Times magazine, London, and he declared that the Supreme Court of India is the most powerful court in the world. Despite all this great power, I am afraid that the Supreme Court is unable to help us in this tremendous heat which is there all over. It is not within their power, though they are a very, very powerful court. We are therefore decided to speak only for a few minutes so that all of you will be relieved as swiftly as possible. Today, it is possible to know with great accuracy as to what are the pendency in the courts. We have the E-Committee headed by Justice Chandrachud, who has been putting the entire data of the E-Committee, I am a member of the E-Committee, on the National Judicial Data Grid. And when you see the results there, a pall of gloom settles. You find that you are in a situation where you are really hopeless, in a hopeless situation. And therefore a feeling of hopelessness there starts developing. There are 24,000 judges in the trial courts, and similarly in the high courts you have about 650 judges, and the areas in the trial courts is 40 million cases. So far as the pendency in the high courts are concerned, 4.2 million civil cases, 1.6 million criminal cases. How is it that the justice delivery system has deteriorated to this extent? Because if you look at the pendency of the number of years, there are a large number of cases which are pending, or a lack of cases, for over 30 years at the trial court level itself, high court level for 15 years, 10 years, and so on. Therefore, the question is, with an average pendency of 8 years in the trial courts, average, 8 years in the high court, how do you believe that so far as the litigant public is concerned, that they would have confidence in the justice delivery system? We find from the judgments of the Supreme Court that access to justice is a fundamental right. But against whom can the poor litigant public or the under trial who has been incarcerated for practically the same number of years for which he would have been punished if he had been convicted, well, where is it that it goes? Does he file a case for enforcement of fundamental rights? Against whom? According to me, it has to be against the government of India, the governments of the states, as well as the judicial system itself. And we think that so far as chief justice are concerned, you have had a conference, and sure you would have thought of this, which I think is one of the most pressing issues so far as the justice delivery system is concerned. And you, the chief justices, you are the persons who will have to innovate and find grounds, reasons, and reforms by which the whole of the entire areas would be done away with. There is one problem, and the problem is of vacancies. The vacancies in the trial courts, which have should have 24,000 judges, there are 5,000 vacancies. So far as the high courts are concerned, many of them have only 50% judges functioning. How do you expect that so far as this is concerned, you would be able to achieve any sort of disposals which will be able to make a dent in the pending cases? And it is my submission that the lawyers, the judges, and the governments of the state and of the center will have to get together to see as to whether it is possible. 76% of the inmates in the in the jails are under trials, and this is the highest in 25 years. They are poor people, Dalits, poverty-stricken people who are not able to furnish bail, and they continue to rot in jails for years without their cases being taken up. Therefore, according to me, the situation has to be remedied. Something drastic has to be done, and I think all of us together will put our heads together. Perhaps the judges, the governments mainly, and the lawyers will be able to remedy the situation so that the justice delivery system can regain its position as an effective cure for this deep malaise and disease which is afflicting the system. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. With this, may I now request our President, Mr. Vikas Singh, to kindly deliver his address.
My Lord the Chief Justice of India, judges of this court, our visiting Chief Justices from the High Courts of this country, the learned Attorney General for India, law officers of this court, members of the SCORA, members of my newly elected Executive Committee, and members of the Bar. I promised the Chief Justice of India that I will be very brief. So if I had to brief, I had to decide on a focal point for today's meet or today's meeting, I would say. When the Constitution was drafted, there was no collegium system in the Constitution. I have no quarrel with the collegium system. I myself feel that it's the right system. But when you take this, assume this authority or this power to appoint judges, it comes with a huge amount of responsibility. And the responsibility is not to look for names who are in front of you, appearing in front of you. The responsibility is to look for names wherever they are. In the High Court, there could be in the trial court. There could be in law firms. There could be working in a jurisdiction which the Honorable CJI, like for instance criminal matters, income tax matters. They may not be before the judges at all, may not see them at all. Ultimately, it is your paper should work. When we last year moved this appointment of Supreme Court lawyers as judges before the Honorable CJI, the Honorable CJI very readily agreed that there should be some mechanism in place, and it is at his nudge that I started the process. We constituted a very, very credible search committee. And whatever names we recommended, they were not for appointment, they were only for consideration. Whatever name we recommended, the names are only for being considered. They were all unanimous names. Anybody of the search committee had any doubt, that name was not taken up, not recommended. My very strong feeling is that why do we have to constitute a search committee at all? Why don't the Chief Justices in the collegium of the various high courts constitute their own search committee and find out from their own sources? I'm not saying that you take names from me or you take names from X, Y, Z, but at least that exercise has to be done. That somebody has to do that. It's a huge task which is there involved in the appointment of judges. The task is to find out who are in that eligibility criteria. There could be, you could fix up age, you could fix up age band, you could fix an income band, you could fix a number of appearances, and then find out who all are there in that eligibility. Find out who all of them are interested in coming. And in that search, I feel that it is your responsibility to look at names practicing in Supreme Court. Every High Court can find out what names are practicing in Supreme Court. Every High Court can come to know that these are the names of that High Court who would be interested. I remember when I joined this profession here, my senior, Mr. L.R. Singh, he was a very brilliant lawyer. The system lost him because nobody asked him to become a judge. If he had been asked, he would have made a very fine judge, but he would not go anywhere to meet anybody or try to, sort of be considered. Now that is where I remember Justice Dalveer Bhandari told me that in the Bombay High Court, he identified some 7 names, out of which all 7 refused because they were having very, very good practice. He said, I then told all of them that I am coming to your home and your parents should be there if they are there and your wife should be there. And he sat with them and he said that you have to give back to the system. Money should not be everything for you. I feel that you are fit to become a judge. And he says, I could convert out of those 7, I could convert 3. Now that's the kind of exercise we need to do. That's the kind of effort we need to do. If we don't do that, somewhere down the line, the quality will go down and our judiciary will suffer, our nation will suffer, because we as a developing nation, the entire world is looking towards us. We are tipped to be the 3rd in the world in the next few years. And if the justice delivery does not improve, if the quality of judges do not improve, then I feel that we as a democracy will be really somewhere on the line, down the line, will be giving a very wrong signal to the entire world, which is not desirable. So I beseech the Honorable Chief Justice of India I don't even say, my names are just some names which we have found out in our search committee. I'm not saying appoint them. I'm only saying consider them. If they are better, if you have better names in the High Court, please appoint your names. Lady lawyers. There are so many lady lawyers practicing here, and I know for personal knowledge that many collegiums in the High Court don't get lady lawyers practicing in their court. Why can't the lady lawyers practicing here who are willing to go there be considered for elevation? So I only wanted to use this platform for a very limited purpose, because I didn't want to waste. Your Lordships are having a lot of agenda for the day. I believe there is a fully packed function. So I thought I'll just use this for this limited purpose, because this is the rest of my problems. Of course, I'll take up with the Honorable CJI separately. I don't need to discuss my issues with the visiting Chief Justices. But this is one issue where I need that your Lordships are having a conference tomorrow also. This can be discussed, and some way has to be found of how to pick up names from the Supreme Court and ensure that we are only considered for elevation. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The issues you have raised in front of all the Chief Justices of High Courts also. May I now request Ms. Rachna Srivastav, Senior Advocate and Senior Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Ravi Shankar Jha, Chief Justice of Punjab and Haryana High Court. Yeah. बोला. May I now request Mr. Brijendra Chaha, Senior Advocate and Senior Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Rajesh Bindal, Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court. May I now request Mr. Dinesh Goswami, Senior Advocate and Senior Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Indrajit Mahanti, Chief Justice Tripura High Court. May I now request Mr. Ranjit Thomas, Senior Advocate and Senior Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Mohammad Rafiq, Chief Justice, Himachal Pradesh High Court. May I now request Mr. Dinesh Goswami, Senior Advocate and Senior Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Dr. S. Muralidhar. We all know he was here practicing in this court, Chief Justice of Orissa High Court. May I now request Ms. Seema Patna, the Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Bipin Sanghi, Acting Chief Justice, Delhi High Court. May I now request Mr. Kumar Gaurav, Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Visnath Somadar, Chief Justice, Sikkim High Court. May I now request Mr. Vikas Gupta, Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Dipankar Datta, Chief Justice, Bombay High Court. May I now request Ms. Anjali Chauhan, Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjeev Banerjee, Chief Justice, Meghalaya High Court. May I now request Mr. Upender Mishra, Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Mittal, Chief Justice, Jammu and Kashmir High Court. May I now request Ms. Nandini Gupta, Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice N. Mani Kumar, Chief Justice, Kerala High Court. May I now request Mr. Mukesh Singh, Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Karol, Chief Justice, Patna High Court. May I now request Mr. Satbir Pilania, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Munishwar Nath Bhandari, Chief Justice, Madras High Court. May I now request Ms. Sangeeta Singh, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Satish Chand Sharma, Chief Justice, Telangana High Court. Is not in. May I now request Ms. Seema Patnaha to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Prakash Srivastava, Chief Justice, Calcutta High Court. May I now request Mr. Kumar Gaurav to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Ravi Vijay Kumar Malimat, Chief Justice, Madhya Pradesh High Court. May I now request our Member Executive Mukesh Singh to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Dr. Ravi Ranjan, Chief Justice, Jharkhand High Court. May I now request Mr. Vikas Gupta, Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice P.V. Sanjay Kumar, Chief Justice, Manipur High Court. May I now request Ms. Anjali Chauhan, Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia, Chief Justice, Guwahati High Court. May I now request Ms. Sangeeta Singh, Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Rituraj Avasthi, Chief Justice, Karnataka High Court. May I now request Ms. Anjali Chauhan to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Arvind Kumar, Chief Justice, Gujarat High Court. May I now request Mr. Satbir Bilania, Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kumar Mishra, Acting Chief Justice, Uttarakhand High Court. May I now request Ms. Rachna Srivastava, Senior Advocate and Senior Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Prashant Kumar Mishra, Chief Justice, Andhra Pradesh High Court. May I now request Mr. Upendra Mishra, Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice M.M. Srivastava, Acting Chief Justice, Rajasthan High Court. May I now request Ms. Sangeeta Singh, Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Arup Kumar Goswami, Chief Justice, Chhattisgarh High Court. I'm sorry I missed Justice Lalit and Justice Khanvilkar. May I now request Mr. Rohit Pandey, Joint Secretary, to kindly present the bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Yuyu Lalit.
अभी आने तो दो भाई साहब प्लीज सर मैं पहले फ्रेम सेट करके
May I now request Mr. Brijendra Chahas, Senior Advocate and Senior Member Executive, to kindly present the bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice A.M. Khanvilkar.
प्लीज सर थैंक यू
May I now request Honorable Mr. Justice L.V. Ramana, Chief Justice of India, to kindly deliver his address.
My learned brothers, Justice Lalit and Justice Khanvilkar, the Chief Justice of different High Courts, learned Attorney General, President of the Bar Association, Sri Vikas Singh, Vice President Mr. Rai, Mr. Kaushik, Secretary, other executive members, learned Solicitor General, and learned members of the Supreme Court Bar Association. First, let me congratulate the newly elected body for their winning the election. I wish a very good tenure and a grand success to this new body. I must first, before the comments made by the Land Attorney General, I fully endorse the concern expressed by the Land Attorney General. The whole day, morning, 10 o'clock from up to now, all my brothers as well as learned Chief Justices, we have discussed about these issues only. And I am reserving to express my views for tomorrow in the Vignan Bhavan speech. I will explain, I will add something more, and I will tell everything, who is responsible, what is the issues pending in the judiciary. Tomorrow morning, I think I can tell all these issues. So far as the request of Vikas Singh is concerned, the Secretary knows where the power lies. That's why he ignored my two brothers first and given bouquets to all other Chief Justices. So he understands for his demand where the power and who is the people having the power to appoint judges. That is the answer. I thank you very much for the Honorable President and the members of the Bar, Executive, everyone, to inviting all of us and interacting with the Chief Justices. Certain demands raised, let me see whatever possible I can try to fulfill it in my level. Certain things which I can't do, I can't make any promise on that. And anyhow, he has raised certain issues. Let us look into those issues. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. I wish you once again thanks to all of you. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir, that you would be considering our demands. May I now request Mr. Rohit Pandey, Joint Secretary, SCBA, to kindly give vote of thanks.
We are grateful to Honorable Mr. Justice N.V. Ramana, Honorable the Chief Justice of India, for accepting our invitation to attend this function. I thank Honorable Judges of Supreme Court of India, Honorable Retired Judges of Supreme Court of India, Honorable Chief Justices of High Courts for gracing the occasion. I thank Mr. K.K. Venugopal, Learned Attorney General for India, Mr. Tushar Mehta, Learned Solicitor General of India, Learned Law Officers. I thank Mr. P.H. Parikh, former President SCBA, Mr. Manoj Mishra, President SCORA, Mr. Devvrat, Secretary SCORA, Secretary General and Learned Registrars of the Supreme Court, Registrars of all the High Courts, media persons, office bearers and members of the Executive Committee of various bar associations, other distinguished guests and respected members of bar for gracing the occasion. Kindly join us for high tea.
Kindly join us for high tea outside. Thank you, everyone.
Fine, great. No, please. Thank you. All. Thank you so much. पकड़े तो यहीं से पकड़े, यहीं ठीक है। आने तो दिखा देते हैं ऐसे।